Greetings, code traders. It's Friday, February 1st, 2019. I'm here to trade, and what I'm going to do is trade the code 2. I'm going to use a code 1 entry into the code 2. If it doesn't work, I'm going to use a code 3 entry. I'll be back as soon as I've taken entry. When the code 1 is working, I'll be able to nail this trade very easily. When it's not working, I'll lose on the initial trade, and then take a code 3 entry, which I'll win again on. Last code 2 was only good for about 65 ticks, something like that. I didn't quite measure it exactly, but so it's not good for a lot, so we're not going to go for too much here today. Okay, we've got a code 1 long signal. I've got a position here. Okay, it's starting to move up here. This is a code 1 long signal into a code 2 trade. If it continues to go up, we'll get a code 3 confirmation and a code 3 signal to go long. If code 1 works, this will be good entry. Won't have to take another one. But this is a code 2 trade. Code 2 trades are extremely profitable. They're extremely profitable. And I never could have imagined that there was a code 2 trade for everything. It's really kind of a pretty good revelation that there is a code 2 to everything, so we can use it on literally everything. Anyway, I will come back. Gonna go for 100 ticks here. Don't know if I can get it or not, but it's a code 2 trade, so it definitely could easily do 100 ticks. I'll come back. Okay, so now if it hits the stop, it's going to be a code 3 entry going short. So all I'll do is let it hit the stop and then take a short position. Pretty cool though, right? Okay, I'll come back. Oh, by the way, a lot of you have been writing to me talking about how the code 3 trade has really helped you with the code 2. So the code 3 entry has really helped you with the code 2. Because a lot of you know what the code 2 is. You've been doing this for a long time. You've been in the charting service for a long time. You know what the code 2 is pretty much, and learn how to track it yourself. So the code 3 entry has really helped you into that. So that's really, really good. And it's really not that hard, is it? It's not, in fact, it's very simple. So see, right now I'm not getting in or getting out based upon any emotion or what I think it might do or anything like that. I'm getting in and getting out completely based upon the code. So for instance, I won't get out here. I'll let it hit the stop, because then the code will say go short. And so I will take it and go short. But if it doesn't go down to here, then it doesn't say go short. It has already said go long on the code 1. I'm sorry, it's yeah, so go long on the code 1. We still don't have a code 3 trade yet. Code 3 entry, no signal. Anyway, I'll come back. About to get a code 3 long signal here. Almost. Now the YMES, RTY, and YM, I already said that, is going down. All of those are going down right now. Okay, YM just turned back up. ES is trying to. See, they all trade in unison with each other, but I've been able to detect that there is a pattern. I'm not sure though if the pattern is changing or if I'm seeing the same pattern or not. See, the only way to know for sure is to track it. By tracking it and put it down mathematically, and you look at it on paper mathematically, it's easy to see. And you just see the numbers are the same, you know. So, but I believe there is a very real possibility that we could use this as a flaw in the system, where we could tell which one is going to go first as the leader. And then once we identify that, which wouldn't take very long, then we could know what to do on the other one. So every time the leader turns, we could take the position early on the other ones. I believe that could happen. Like for instance, remember I said they were going down? And but oil was going up. Oil's the leader. Now they're turning. The YM just turned up. The the RTY is trying to turn up. It's bounced off its bottom. It's trying to turn up. Same with the ES. It's trying to turn up right now. See, they follow each other, and what we can do is look for that pattern, and I don't know if that changes or if that's always the same. Once I start charting this out, it won't take me very long to find out. And if that's the case, it'll be very simple. It'll be really, really simple. I mean, in theory, it would be even more simple than the codes. But anyway, it would just be another tool in our arsenal in order to make money from this market, or markets, I should say. You know, it's interesting because I feel like there's like a missing link in this whole entire thing that I am on the tip of discovering. Like I can feel it or like taste it, but it hasn't come to me yet. There's something there that I'm not seeing. Some type of correlation or some type of other way in which to open this up or look at it from a different angle and see something even larger. Yeah, I'm getting really close to it. Once I start charting it out, having people chart it out for me, and then I could look at it mathematically every day and analyze it, I'll be able to see it. Like right now, the YM's going down again, ES, RTY. We'll see what happens here. It was the same pattern as yesterday. So far it is the same. What's going to happen is oil will come down a little bit here, and then the other ones will bounce. Nope, it's going to go back up. Okay. Oil may come down here a little bit, and the other ones will start bouncing. Anyway, really need to look at this mathematically. That way I can really, really see it. And there's more ways in which to get an advantage over this market than just what we've discovered so far. Anyway, let's take a look at the daily. Okay, making a nice green bar on the daily. See how choppy the daily is. It's very, very choppy. Just when you think it's going to get going one way, it goes back the other. Chops, goes up. Just when you think it's going to start going up, it goes back down. Chops up and down. Goes down, breaks another low, but then goes right back up. Goes up and then comes right back down. It's really, really choppy out there. But at any day, any time, it's going to make a move. Could be today. Could easily be today. It could take off and go long and go really race higher. Let's take a look at the 10 minute. 10 minute looking good so far. Let's take a look at it in better perspective. So this was yesterday. Took the trade up here, took the trade back down, and then it went into the Asian session, didn't do much, and the European session started, didn't do a whole lot, and then here's the USA session, just started, and boom, well actually that's still the European. USA session started right over here. I got in here, it's moving up. Code 3, we do have a code 3 long entry, right? Yes, we do. We have a code 3 long entry. A while ago. Not sure if I told you about that or not, but yeah, we had it a while ago. You'd be in code 3 at about, let's see here. You'd be in about 5428 or so, 28, 29, something like that. So you'd be right about here or here using a code 3 entry. So everybody out there who's using code 3 today, now, or when I started trading, if they were trading at the same time, they would have taken the exact same entry as 28, 29. Now I got in earlier. I got in on the code 1, so code 1 worked. And you know, if you're thinking, well, I wonder how hard that code 1 is. Oh, well, the code 1 entry I just took is very simple, very, very simple. Now, if you wanted to figure it out mathematically, what the exact code 1 is for today, that's much harder. But just doing the free trading of the code 1 I just did is very simple. Now that wasn't just an ordinary code 1. That was a code 1 into a code 2. So that's a little bit different. Actually, it's a lot different, because if you get it right, you score a big trade. Whereas a normal code 1, if you get it right, you make 5, 10, 15, 20 ticks, you know, on average. So there's a big difference in scoring one trade right on the code 1. If it ever was to use a code 1, it would be into a code 2. Same thing applies with the code 3. What's the best code 3 that you could possibly take? A code 2. Take a code 3 entry into a code 2 trade. That would be the best one that you could possibly take. So anyway, so I took a code 1 long entry. We also have a code 3 long entry. Now I got it at 5408 on the code 1. Code 3. You would have got in about what, 28? I think I said 28, 29. So about 20. I got 20 ticks better entry using the code 1 rather than the code 3. But let's say that the code 1 didn't work because it was offset. Well, then the code 1 would have been a loser. That happened yesterday, in fact. And then I took the code 3 entry. That was a winner. So if you just used a code 3 entry, not a code 1 entry, you'd get the code 3 entry right every time. Whereas if you use a code 1 entry and it's wrong, you're going to lose on trades. So there's a trade-off. You know, code 3 can be better, but you don't make as many ticks on certain trades, or really on all trades, and not necessarily all trades though. But the code 1 can make you more ticks. So it's a trade-off. They're both good. I like this strategy here, where I just use the code 1. If it's right, I'll take it. If it's wrong, I'll use the code 3. There's also another strategy that I have where I take the code 1. If it doesn't work, I take the break. I take the offset break. So I take it going the other way once it breaks. Once it hits my stop, I take it the other way. That works the vast majority of time. I don't know what the mathematics on it is. Probably about 80, 90%. I'd say about 90% it works. So it's a good method. But now you got to remember, now that's only going into one trade per day, only one time. Whereas the code 3, you can go into trades all the time. So you can go into trades after the code 2 is over, and start using it going back the other way. All kinds of stuff like that, you know, or trade even before the code 2 even you even have a code 2. You know, there's a lot more flexibility with code 3. So I said the code 2 was yesterday was good for 65 ticks, but if I remember right, I was calculating that from my entry. I'm not sure what I was giving up on ticks. It was probably about 20 ticks, so it's probably about 85 ticks. No, you have to calculate the entry too. I would say it's probably about 75 ticks. That's a rough guess. So the code 2 yesterday was worth about 75 ticks, I would say. And let's see what it's good for so far. So far, the code 2, well, actually, I have it nailed. The code 2 starts right where I'm in at. So it's however many ticks I have here. So about 35 ticks. 35 ticks, and it went 75 ticks, so I've got 40 ticks to go. So looking at about 54.80 it should go up to. 54.80, possibly higher. So at 80, that would give me about 70 ticks. 72 ticks. Anyway, I will come back. Yeah, see, I believe I'm right because here's the thing. I did the same thing yesterday. I took a trade based upon my theory on the YM. And see, since you know what the code 2 is for oil, right? Now, of course, it's going to be the same thing with the YM because I can figure out the code 2 for that too. But just by me knowing, by virtue of me knowing the code 2 for oil and knowing it's going to go up, I was able to take a trade yesterday on the YM, it dropping down really big. I took a trade on it and got it right, and it went all the way back up because I knew that they would end up having the same chart. You could do the same thing on all of them. And I just did the same thing just now. I've got a long position on the YM now. And because oil is going to go up, so will the YM. And because I know oil will go up because of the code 2. But, like I say, I'm able to break the code 2 for the YM as well. It's no problem. So you see, the Dow, the Dow is controlled by the YM. Okay, isn't that weird? Yeah, it is. It's actually controlled. That's why it's the exact same price as it. As you see on CNBC, it shows you the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's the same price you're seeing under the symbol YM. The YM is controlling it, and it's not it's not really representation. It's not really a representation of all the different stocks. It's actually being controlled. So you can trade the Dow or any of the indexes and trade them all right very easily. And so see here, it's doing the same exact thing. It's dipping on oil while it's going up on the other ones. And I was able to get in early on the other one, on the YM, based upon the fact that I knew what the code 2 is for oil. Isn't that amazing? That's really incredible. And so what that allows me to do is to take a successful trade very easily on multiple instruments without even knowing what their code 2 is, or even using the code 3 on them. Once I get this down, have it more mastered, I'll teach you how to do it. But it's relatively simple to do. So now you're looking at the YM. This is the YM right here, not the chart. The chart is still oil, but this is the YM dome, and I've got a position on it at 25.076, about to make it to the exit here. But this was using the technique I was just talking about. I could tell that it was going to reverse and go higher because I knew that oil would go higher, and they all look alike on the charts. You see, this is all becoming very, very simple to me now. It's really becoming ridiculously easy here. But I'm starting to see more and more and more. Once I get the charting going, I'll really be able to see a lot. And when I say charting going, I mean having people chart everything out for me, code 2, code 3, so that I can look at everything mathematically. Instead of me having to do it myself every day, which I'm really not capable of doing anymore. And, well, I shouldn't say capable, but I really just, it's becoming too much work for me. So I'm going to have other people do it, and then I'll be able to look at it, no problem, and give my daily commentary on what the market's going to do every day, which I think is very valuable, and provide a good quality service so that all of you code traders can follow it and really ace the market. Anyway, let's go back over to oil. As you can see, for oil, I'm nowhere near as up because the Dow is moving more. You know, the Dow is just moving more than oil is. Of course, that doesn't mean that that's going to hold true all day. It may not. It may just be for a little while, and then oil will shoot up higher. That could happen. Or the Dow will be better. You know, maybe I'll do them side by side and see how they come out. Actually, what I need to do is figure out what the code 2 is for the Dow. Then we could just ace it and see what it is every day. How many ticks it's good for. That'll make it really, really easy. Anyway, I'll be back. Starting to move up here. See if it can break the top up here and move higher. Let's take a look at the daily. Looking good on the daily. Looking good. And looking good on the 10 minutes. Still, oil has only gone a short distance. Still got quite a ways to go just to hit the what it hit yesterday. So, still looking good here. By the way, I could have hit more on the Dow. I just, what I need to do is track the code 2 and then check to see what it's good for. That way we'll know exactly what to go for. Right now I have no idea, but could be a lot, you never know. But I've already made twice as much as I made here on oil. I made twice as much on the Dow in a relatively short period of time too. Probably only about, I'm just taking a guess, like 20 minutes or so. 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, something like that. It was a relatively short period of time. And I've been in oil now for like an hour and a half. So, Dow is definitely a mover. By the way, the ES, now I don't know how many ticks it actually is. I have to measure the ticks, but the chart looks identical to the YM. Identical. So, it's the same, everything's the same, so, but it's a possibility that you might make more from the YM than you do the ES. I don't know. You have to do them side by side, but they're both really, really good. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but we did get another code 3 long signal again, so multiple code 3 long signals here. Okay, the other instruments are going down now. The YM, the ES, the RTY, all going down. That means oil will now go up. They're going in opposite directions of each other, but yet the chart remains the same. It's funny how they did that. Anyway, I will be able to analyze this mathematically, and we'll see what's really happening behind the scenes at the numbers. Instead of a graphical level, we'll see at a mathematical level and be able to easily see its patterns and its weaknesses, and then we'll be able to exploit them very easily. Okay, it just broke. So we're in free territory on the chart now. Now let's see, what did I say it should go up to? Let's see. Let's call it It should go to like 54.80 or more. With the chart looking like that, it could definitely do more. Definitely. That's a good looking chart. It could keep on going here. So up to 80 or higher. Let me take a look. Yeah, I'm going to hang on to it for a bit. I'll be back. Okay, it's starting to come down, but it only went to 70. And I said it should go to 80. So it's still got more to go. Coming down pretty good here, though. Anyway, I will come back. It's continuing to move higher here. Okay, still continuing to move up here. It's made it up to the 80. And I'm going to go ahead and keep it at the 100 ticks, which takes it up to 55.08. Has a pretty good chance of making it, I think. Anyway, I will come back. Well, what do you think? Code 2 or code 3 entry into a code 2 trade. Of course, I used a code 1, but I told you in the code 2, code 3 you'd be in at 28. So you'd have a little over 50 ticks in it right now, and still could go up quite a bit higher. The daily looks good. It's been really choppy, so I'm not going to take the gamble that it's going to go break this high up there.